game. I believe in you, that's what it'll say. Nice and kind, bleeding cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what it'll say. Nice and kind, bleeding cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what it'll say. Nice and kind, bleeding cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7.
Hello, hello, hello. Oh, we gotta put our little bow tie on. There we go. Did I ever give out the free subs this month? Oh, I have not. I wonder if there's even enough people in the chat yet. Fluffy was gifted. There we go. People even know. I'll do it again. I don't know what happens. Is it just random subscribers? Who does it? It says for viewers. Fluffy, you've gotten the membership 3 times in a row? Oh, hello. I don't know how it chooses. Hi, hi. Well, there you go. Enjoy the emotes. Just completely random. I didn't think there was enough viewers yet for it to select 10. They just went for it. Okay. So we're starting off with this game right here. Oh no 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 no. Oh my. I've fought this matchup. It's not easy as Sturm. Not easy at all. They don't have to be here. Oh. It doesn't even prefer those who are. Wow. Well, I'm so sorry, King Kirby Kid. Well, in like 14 days or so, I'll be able to do it again. Never had premium. Well. You bet it's not so bad as your opponent goes for the neutral base. What? Oh, is that true, Neko? Oh. That's a weird thing for it to refuse. as a default. King Kirby Kid is your do you have it turned on to receive? You have to opt into it. Make sure subscription's public. Ah. You'll get a little apple by your name and you'll get some emotes. I think I might actually be able to... I might have another emote slot open. You're just messing around. No worries. I'll let the person know that their game's about to be covered. Short notice. Or game. I just saw their Discord message to me as a new viewer, as a new submitter. Yeah, I don't know how many people go and look at other people's viewing habits anyway. I'm sure there's some people that do. Well, let's make Rock Golem Cobalt Ice. Because, I mean, they're fighting an uphill battle here. Kanbei units are really difficult for Sturm to fight. Even like the mechs can be a serious threat. What can I tell you about the map? Do I know this map? I don't think I know this map. If I do, it is escaping me. It doesn't look like a very balanced map. Just judging by how many properties this base is responsible for. Because it's not like it's easy for these bases to claim these properties, since they have a very roundabout route to getting to them. But like the double base, it's only responsible for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 cities. The lone base, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10. And the comm tower and an airport. So it's probably the way to go about it is to either like try and go all in on your 2 base side to try and steal some cities away from this 1 base side. You can probably get these cities. Probably. Or you could try and go all in, be like, I'm just make this the weak side. I don't want to like overextend into these cities and just send a lot of reinforcements this way. Kind of smash into them while they're not anticipating it. Yeah, Sturm's got some nice Sturm only things, right? Like you can get to this city in 1 turn. Only Sturm can do that. Sturm can get to this city in 2 turns. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. As Sturm here, I think you have to go just mass greed. Try and get as much income as you possibly can and fast tech ups. You'd love to, as Sturm, go for like really fast recons to harass. But a Sturm recon cannot stop a Kanbei infantry from capturing. So it wouldn't really be worth it. We'll see how it goes. Looks like we're gonna have this city go for, or this base go for the neutral. Makes sense to me. Oh, okay. Rock Golem does go for a quick recon. We'll see if this recon gets anything done. You might deny Kanbei a tiny bit of money, which is true. Typically when you're fighting Kanbei, you want to go, if you're trying to actually fight Kanbei, you want to go for indirects, which is something that Sturm, just because they have a lot of base damage, they can kind of over compensate for the ridiculous amount of stats that Kanbei has. But we'll see. We do have a recon. It might get to strike something. Ooh, a little boost. Recon's so sad he can't see it. There's an infantry on a road. That's just as strong as an infantry on a city for most people. Oh, okay, this recon does reveal it. So this should do kind of like 4 damage, maybe? Gotta be pretty happy about that. Did do 4 damage. I mean, that's the dream, right? You got to hit an infantry on a road. Best possible terrain. Okay, here comes the Kanbei tank. It does require a base skip, but the tank is going to be able to one-shot basically everything. We'll see if these recons actually manage to get anything done. Look at that. Look at this trade. 2 damage. 2 damage. This infantry can just keep capping, and then both recons have to strike again to interrupt. It takes 2 turns of 2 recons attacking. It was played live about 1 a.m. Okay. I definitely agree with starting to go into the indirects for Sturm. Recon versus recon, that actually ended up being totally fine for Kanbei. You could join cap this if you want to make sure you get the city. It's also fun to just kind of wander off a bit. Okay, Rock Golem is getting a nice income lead, which you would expect from Sturm. I mean, these are nice setups. Every time that the recons can hit an infantry on the road, they're dreaming. They're living the dream. We did get the comm tower after the strikes. A little unfortunate. But it is what it is. Pop. These tanks are going to be a really big issue. Okay, those recons going down. The infantry surrounded it and took it out. We'll see how Rock Golem actually deals with these tanks. The recon harassment can only kind of go on for so long. This is very nice blocking by this recon, though, making so the infantry can't interrupt. Rock Golem's going to continue having a nice income lead. We do have an artillery in the forest covering this stuff. Kanbei did see it go in there. And the comm tower got denied. All very good. The tank says, I don't care. Strike, strike. And then you might as well strike and kill the recon. Okay, do it with the recon, sure. We'll see how much damage this does. It probably won't be a ton if it fires. I mean, it is a tank on a comm tower. For Kanbei against Sturm. Sturm with a comm tower, mind you. There's 2. We get some nice income here, so we can start seeing some nice some tech ups from Rock Golem, which will help a lot. Yeah, like going straight for the rockets, which for a lot of players would COs would be really tough to use because of all the difficult terrain here, but of course Sturm doesn't care. Just zoom on out. Wow. I don't think this is quite at the stage in the game where you want to be sacrificing recons for vision yet. I was just about to say something you need to pair with all of these indirects is a really nice unit count and vision control. So you don't want to be losing these recons quite yet. Comes the mechs. And go over here, help out, take out this recon. Probably should save this infantry, yeah. It's not really saved in this case, but if it gets attacked, then the mechs can start helping it out. Okay. Really gotta stop putting the infantry on the bad terrain. The Sturm tank did 5 damage to a recon. When you hit it, first strike, 8-6. That's going to be a tough comm tower to completely deny, but there's a lot of Sturm units over here, so maybe it could happen. The one thing that's really working out for Sturm here is that you can't actually hit the artillery with something stronger than this 4 health recon, because the recon is the one providing the vision. So while you can like have this tank kill the 6 health infantry and then set up the full health tank to strike the artillery, you won't actually be able to, because the recon has to move out of the way and then nothing is spotting. So this artillery it's relatively safe. There we go, there's our tech up. A medium tank. This is kind of what you have to do against Kanbei and high funds as well. Replays are submitted the same way as before, although I do have a lot that I need to add to the list. I've been a busy penguin. I think I even timed out of a far fun game with someone. I had a choice. I had enough time to take a turn in a league game, but to take a turn in the for fun game, and I was like, you know what? It's going to have to be the league game. My apologies to Rip. Pop. So I don't think the full health tank had to be used here for this strike. And here you would join, because while you do just join to a 9 instead of a 10, you also top off the infantry to make it more survivable. Okay, so it does get taken out. Tank wars are definitely going in Kanbei's favor currently. The medium tank should prove to be a pretty strong obstacle. I love the infantry movement here, just making it so it's difficult to get a good hit on this artillery. We have the indirects moving in over here. Some work done. Okay. A bunch of infantry. Finish off the recon with the 3 health tank. Looks like we're just going to fall back away from the artillery. I don't think the medium tank was actually spotted. That's okay. I thought we might see a full health tank come in here and smack this tank with the idea that the artillery can't hit. I guess Fate Emblem is just thinking about the potential reinforcements coming in, which is good. You do win engagements automatically, unless, you know, the indirects fire or you get out-teched and stuff like that. If it's the same type units, you'll just kind of win. Same type units, same number of units. But here we go. That's what I was saying. You really have to use against Kanbei, those indirects, and Rock Golem is setting them up. Didn't buy units. You know, is it a mess up or is it a plan to do a fast tech up that Sturm would never expect? That's what I'm talking about, recon tech up. Okay, there's a medium tank. Another recon. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. Didn't jump straight to Neo tank. We got Fred living large. Okay. Here comes the medium tank. Pop does 4 damage to a tank. You definitely hope for more. I guess if Kanbei has like 4 tanks or 3 tanks even, the medium tank from Sturm could get taken out. But if it made it onto a city, I think it would be fine. Ooh. This will be a tough one for Rock Golem to hold, but we do at least delay it for a turn. Gotta be so careful with these indirects. They don't have, since all those recons kind of just like died over here, they don't have enough vision and protection to get placed into really meaningful spots. Okay. Gonna go for harbor here. Or not the harbor, the airport. Should be good. I would have just kept capturing with this infantry. It puts a lot more pressure on than striking here, which kind of delays the whole capture. And I would join cap this for sure. And then I'd probably put a recon here. Just to be another annoying obstacle to clear out that takes more than infantry to hit. Ooh, Rock Golem has the meteor strike. Ooh, and it does hit the front line, which is really nice. It's so close to being diverted down. That was a very, very convenient meteor strike for sure. And now the rockets are here. It's going to become very, very difficult to impossible to get this comm tower for Kanbei. Although you don't necessarily need it. I mean, I say that, but as soon as Kanbei has a super, then it suddenly becomes possible again to get the comm tower. You could also just kind of rush the HQ, because if Kanbei triggers the super and gets a capture and it has anything on the HQ, you have 100% defense, so you actually can't take any damage. So a full health infantry can just start a capture, and then unless a meteor lands on you, you would get the capture for sure. But that might be the plan of this airport, to buy like a bomber. Or maybe these artillery are going to head over there. Tanks. I guess more captures. Rock Golem has been up by 4k for this whole, not this whole game, but for a long time here. So definitely been getting a nice income lead, converting that into more and more units. Artillery revealed. Oh, we're going to go into Samurai Spirit here. Super strong stats. Only managed, I mean, doing 6 damage. It's pretty good Sturm defense there. I guess Samurai Spirit mostly raises defense. It does increase offense too. Its biggest component is that it increases defense by a lot. But for most, against most COs, that would just instantly kill the artillery. We are getting some Sturm value. As far as Samurai Spirits go, it doesn't seem too impactful. I guess there was the medium tank strike, which is going to be the biggest impact. Fred, no! There you can see how good this defense that you get from Samurai Spirit is. Full health mech, 1 damage to the tank. It also gives you higher counter strike damage or counter attack damage. Didn't do a damage to that tank. Join cap on the comm tower. Falling back over here looks good to me. Send in more and more indirects. Here comes some more recons because we really need the vision for Rock Golem. It looks like we're going to try and stop this comm tower maybe. It's going to be an expensive stop. I think you kind of have to let it go. Well, maybe it's not too expensive. I guess only the rocket would hit you if you know about the rocket. All of the artillery are actually out of range. Okay, we're getting kind of close to a sudden setup to take out this black boat and threaten to win the game on the spot. That was okay. The medium tank decided to go after a tank instead. Well, it does. Maybe it wouldn't be able to stop this. It is a Sturm infantry after all. Just Kanbei things. Yeah. Very unfortunate spot for the tank to land. It's gonna get double shelled. This is 100% the composition you would need as Sturm here. So as Kanbei, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to deal with this area at all. But the HQ can't have that much defending it if 2 rockets fired on my medium tank. So I'd be definitely setting up double artillery staring at this. Front shift into it. Quite the death ball for Rock Golem here. And we have a meteor on deck. So if Kanbei tries to set up a counter position death ball, then the meteor will just kind of strike. It's going to get used here. It does hit the black boat, which also does introduce a lot of pressure onto Kanbei. There's still some infantry over here, so an HQ capture, while not unstoppable like Kanbei's would be, is still a serious threat. I'm surprised we haven't seen any air in this airport. And also no anti-airs in preparation for air. I guess there's some sort of... Yeah. I guess the recons are providing enough vision to warn all the indirects. Ooh, Kanbei briefly actually gets an income lead and then resigns. I wouldn't resign quite yet as Kanbei, just because you can probably join something and then get a bomber, and you're close to the super, and you just kind of fly over here with 1 artillery. Maybe it takes a little more than that. It's a Sturm black boat, but yeah, this should be the prime target, even if you're feeling like you're losing by a lot. Just the fact that if you get a single infantry on the HQ. What's an airport? just Kanbei things. That was a very nice Sturm versus Kanbei game. I'm surprised the recons got as much done as they did, but that just comes down to partly you gotta be really careful when approaching cities in fog. You don't want to be walking on the roads towards them. And then the transitioning straight into mass indirect was definitely the way to go. So GG. Well played. The fighting definitely went a lot better than my Sturm versus Kanbei game, but it's also a very different map and a different mode. Next we have steezer versus Thavidu. Oh, I have it just written as Thavid. It's possible that he could get the HQ before you got his. He definitely had a lot of indirects to try and stop you. And it's a live, and I think you said it was a live game, so that can, or at least you were playing it live, that can impact things for sure. The Blackwood was clutch there with a meteor at the end. Can he just spam normal tanks? I guess if the Neo's on like a road, you could do that. Yeah, I mean all the indirects, it's not easy to dive into that stuff. But next we have steezer versus Thavidu. Is this a tournament game? No, this is just a global league game. I guess the tournament game didn't have, wouldn't have had Kindles. A Tier 3 Global League Fog. Steezer versus Thavidu in a Kindle mirror. Everyone's favorite mirror. Thavidu, your bitter rival. We'll see how this goes. I don't think I've ever actually seen a Kindle mirror on this map, but I imagine it's fairly common since Kindle's a very common Tier 3 CO. We have a fast recon from Thavidu. Gonna go towards this center route. I'm not quite sure what its plan to interrupt will be. If it had the vision, it could interrupt this capture. Otherwise, it's going to be out of luck. I guess if steezer does something a little foolish, like putting this infantry on this road right here in an attempt to go for this city, then this is going to be a very happy recon. Steezer went for a tank first, 2 base side, and did not move an infantry into range of this recon. So it's going to show up and just see a bunch of capturing infantry, which is the unfortunate time for a recon to show up. There it is. We'll see if steezer does. Steezer's going to do something now. Very nice to move all the infantry before moving the tank in this case. Lets the infantry movements help dictate where the tank's going to go. And finish up on some of these back captures. They're both going the exact same route. Looks like it's go city or airport into a comm tower. Thavidu did kind of rush this comm tower a fair bit, so I guess this recon's real goal is to deny this comm tower. He does back off. And steezer doesn't try and be really gutsy and like dive into the darkness to find it. It probably wouldn't be worth it anyway. But it's known about over here. So I'm glad it wasn't... Ooh, this is a very interesting move though from steezer, which I don't quite agree with. So the recon's known about, knows it's still in the region, and it still moves this tank backwards. So now it's no longer actually guarding this capture, and this recon actually sees that happen. So it must be that steezer just thought the recon went like really far back or something. Or it's kind of like bluffing Thavidu, like, I have a tank in the back now, I don't need that one. So we'll see if Thavidu goes in for an interrupt here. It would actually end up being free, but it would be risky. Okay, doesn't do it. Instead just preps to interrupt over here, which is probably a much safer interrupt for sure. You can now fully judge people. You parked, yeah, artillery around the city to blow up the pipe seems faster. Yeah, you can definitely do that as Kindle for sure. Okay. Infantry moves down, moves over to the right, which is an easier to defend position just because this infantry is already lined up to defend it, and this tank can now move in to defend it. Unfortunate though, it does spot this recon. We're going to have recon strike, infantry starts capturing potentially, which is nice because it stops the city from being used by the opposing Kindle. Copter, anti-air, no copter yet. Ooh, okay, goes for this capture. That's definitely a little bit dangerous, I'll say. Just because you don't really want to leave a city available with a unit to strike at it. Go strike over here, interrupt the comm tower. The recon should be safe though, because it's in the woods, so there's extra visibility. I guess the darkness here also helps a fair bit. Because now like this infantry would have to walk to here, which is kind of awkward, and then the tank could come in and strike. In the meantime, the captures over here for steezer are just going by beautifully. They're kind of handshaking this this front, while Thavidu's trying to be more aggressive over here. Tank moves forward, finishes off that infantry. Another tank comes in, the artillery comes in. Steezer investing every single vehicle that's been built into this fight, so Thavidu should definitely back off if enough vision is known, which I don't think it is. It's going to come down to what does this recon do. If it sees all this, I think Thavidu is going to just let the comm tower go. Also take the hint that there's no vehicle ever spotted over here. Sees the double tank. Sees the artillery behind. I was wondering if this was going to happen, or if the recon was going to go here and have like recon infantry strike again. But seeing the artillery is very nice. It means that these tanks don't need to commit. They might still, just because it's very tempting to strike from this comm tower. We're not diving into the artillery range. Sounds good to me. We get a little bit of an interrupt over here. Okay. Anti-air helps cover. Whoa. A little gutsy with these guys. They're outside of the anti-air's range, so I'm not super happy with them. But this is a very busy anti-air. Okay. 2 infantry get taken out. So 3 infantry from Thavidu have come in exchange for 1 infantry and a comm tower delay. The unit count wise, that's pretty expensive, but Steezer's also lost infantry on this front, so it's not like it's a bad situation overall. Nice little boost. Threatened to go for that city. Looks like it was just going to be an infantry trade up here. Thavidu would be pretty happy with that. Because this infantry already got an interrupt and damaged this one, so it's going to be very much net positive for Thavidu at the top. I timed out. Oh yeah. I'm sorry, True Boss. That happened during the vacation, didn't it? I'm very sorry. I'm going to try again in the summer. Ooh, Thavidu's continuing to commit. So I don't quite understand why Thavidu... I'm kind of fine with this attack just because it's outside of the artillery range. But diving in here doesn't make as much sense to me because this isn't actually capturing the comm tower. But the wind doesn't count now. I'm sorry, True Boss. So that's very dicey. There is 3 tanks to attack in here, so I think the plan is attack from the comm tower, attack from the planes, and then hit the artillery. And Thavidu is kind of forced into going down that route just because there's already been so much committed. But you can see Thavidu being like, I don't know if I actually want to do this. Woof. What a strike, though. Okay, there are 2 copters available for steezer, but Thavidu actually has 2 anti-airs potentially available. I mean, hitting that artillery is really nice. Steezer's turn to get a recon infantry strike on the side. Here we go. 6 for 6 trades, not so bad for Thavidu. It is 2 comm towers to 1 right now. We have the Urban Blight from Steezer. Ooh, it makes this anti-air sitting on the city a little awkward. Oh, the anti-air gets snapped. Down to 1. Copter goes to finish it. That's a little gutsy. That copter does get a nice kill though. Yeah, but the tank count's a little... still looking pretty fine. The gutsy part about this is this tank is kind of set up to already die. To have like a tank or something come in with an Urban Blight strike. And then what happens is these infantry get killed off and this copter just gets surrounded. And then a backup anti-air shows up in a couple turns. Or a turn. Okay, this anti-air does get to pop the copter. Do we have an Urban Blight response here? Because there's multiple strikes from cities that are pretty nice. There's even one over here. And ideally that's what you're looking for with your Urban Blight. It's not so much, unless your opponent's not playing around the Urban Blight damage. What you really are looking for is your attacks from properties. Because it's good. Yeah, so here I wouldn't just walk down with this infantry. I'd start getting very aggressive and trying to trap in this copter. personally. Smack. Infantry just back off. I can respect that. Okay. A little bit of a fallback there. Fine. Clear off the city. Anti-air kills. Doesn't kill. Oh! This copter. It's a rare life for a copter when it's had 2 kills and they were both anti-airs. Just out of range. Thavidu's other guys. Okay. They're even in income right now. We'll see if how committed Thavidu is to interrupting this. And with backup anti-air probably feeling okay. Looks like we're actually going to start slowing this down a bit. Or at least have a brief pause as this artillery was built, and it's gonna have to spend multiple turns firing at these pipe seams. Only 2 turns, but still. We are gonna interrupt this. I like the repair with the tank from the black boat there. All back. Tank moves down over here. There's a lot of fighting over the single comm tower, but things are working out pretty nicely for Thavidu overall. Steezer's like, well, how about I just take your comm tower? Comm tower for comm tower seems fair, right? Ooh. Steezer being a little gutsy with well, if Thavidu finds a way of getting to Urban Blight, then Steezer would be very, very sad. Okay, so this recon saw a lot of that movement. This copter can just get popped immediately. Probably should be. I'm not sure if you need to go in there with that infantry. It's probably okay. Are we not sending the anti-air in? Already die? Oh, was it artillery tank? Sending the tanks in. Whoa. What? What is this play? I thought it was going to be kill the infantry, strike from the comm tower to kill the recon, then hit the artillery. It killed the tank. Kill the artillery with the recon from the city. Okay. What's this tank do? Chill? No, this tank was used to break this. Okay. Interesting. I'm not sure I like the attack coming in over here. It's cute that the recon got to do the strike, but it is like the only... I guess this recon's a backup recon. But the real thing is I'm like, this tank reaches here. Like the reinforcing tanks reach over here. They don't reach down here. So I would have been more in favor of this attack coming up this way. This happens. Poor anti-air. Down to 1. Oh, I can live a recon. Ah, I didn't live the recon. And yeah, I was definitely concerned about this maneuver, so I was like, you just leave You just leave this unoccupied, and then there's a lot of infantry that kind of don't have a job for the turn. Your stalling personality is in pain. Copter goes down. Thavidu gets a lot of charge here. Very little overcharge. Maybe like one tank attack that goes to the overcharge. Overcharged by just like 400. That's pretty good for Thavidu. So that's that brings up a choice for Thavidu on this turn. You can either use the Kindle Super, which is gonna be okay, or you can try and go for double Urban Blights, or at least a threat of double Urban Blights. Thavidu decides, let's just chill for a bit, guys. Sends the infantry forward onto that city. Well, it's very... I mean, it's probably fine to just say chill, but it does mean that the charge advantage that Thavidu is enjoying right now is going to get hurt a bit, because now Caesar's going to be gaining charge and Thavidu isn't. Which can be painful. Kind of goes for the interrupt. Huge front shift from Steezer here. And the Neo tank to boot. Okay. Thavidu notices this, goes for the Urban Blight. It does interrupt multiple captures, which is nice. Steezer was wise and didn't put a whole bunch of units on urban terrain this turn, though, so that's very good. Recon gets taken out with some injured tanks. Let's scout out this comm tower. 4 health tank. No, what? I would definitely have sent in the 4 health tank, because then you get the tank strike from the comm tower. Might as well use the Urban Blight. Like a tiny bit of a front shift then. Thavidu. I'm trying to respect this push. Okay. Well, Steezer can definitely take out this artillery if they want to. There's no full health infantry over here to go for this comm tower. We are going to dive in. Have a nice little annoying wall here. Although the infantry can just kind of clear it. Two Urban Blights are not enough to delay a city by another turn. Or 4 turns down, from 3 turns to 4 turns. So this capture is probably guaranteed, but there's a lot of attacks that can go in here. Steezer will get plenty of charge, though. No, 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 no. Stop putting your stuff on the cities unless you're striking from them. Are we not going to have an Urban Blight? Are we not diving in here more? No. Don't do that. Okay, this looks like a turn where Thavidu had one idea for the turn, and then halfway through was like, you know what? I'm actually going to do something else. And we've all had turns like that. Or at least I've had lots of turns like that. Hello. So at the start of the turn, Thavidu's like, you know what? I'm going to be pretty restrained. I'm going to start repairing some of these units. And I just won't give enough charge to steezer. It'll be fine. And then towards the end, Thavidu's like, well, I don't want the city to fall. And I can interrupt this city with my Urban Blight too. You know, I'll just send my anti-air forward. This can go bad real fast. Unless steezer's like, no, that was just too intimidating. A little gutsy to send the anti-air forward over there too. Urban Blight. Strike. This guy survived. Nice. Yeah, the anti-air getting just bopped over here. This copter doesn't. Oh, it doesn't cover the other copter. Oh my gosh. Great attack by steezer. You get some nice tank attacks from cities over here. Over here, this anti-air is probably going to die too. I assume. Maybe not. I guess it might take like a sacrifice play to kill off this tank and then get a tank attack from the city. That's not going to be enough. Yeah, so very nice situation for steezer here. Neotank can kind of clear this anti-air off. And then this anti-air gets to strike from the copter from a city. At the copter from a city. Or the copter can do it. I think the anti-air should do it. I think it kills. And then your copter can go after a tank. Happy with that. I agree, Fluffy. I don't like anti-airs getting exposed to not hit copters. It's rough. Okay, so Thavidu has successfully denied the comp towers this whole game. Does that continue? No. Com tower goes through. Okay, so that means steezer's in a really comfortable position. Way up in terms of kills. Even in income, and now even in com towers. Slight charge advantage to Thavidu. The game's not over, but steezer definitely has the advantage to start pushing for some captures, like over here. You have to be a little bit careful. Neotanks are pretty beefy, but you don't want your Neotanks to get bopped from cities. So here, Thavidu just kind of has to trying to sucker steezer into an overextension. Oh, successfully defended the city. But it looks like steezer's like, you know what? I see you have a huge army at the very bottom of the map, just defending your own captures. I'm just gonna front shift to the other side of the map and see what you do about that. And yeah, it's tough to do something about that, right? Because if you try and front shift alongside with everything, then you can be kind of caught out in the open. So we have this like start of the front shift to chase, but it's going to show up a turn after steezer's already attacking over here. Oh, very nice front shift from steezer currently. Anti-airs again forced. Oh, okay, this is much better. They're forced to hit copters. They have to expose themselves, but they're forced. They're forced to expose themselves hitting copters, so it's not the worst thing. They're not hitting infantry at least. Okay. Front shift is a tiny bit behind, but they're still just in range of this fight, which is very good. I'm not quite sure why steezer went for a bomb or for a fighter. I can understand the bomber. Got like neo tanks and stuff over here. High society. Bop. Thunk. Thunk. There'll be a really strong strike from this comm tower. The high society isn't quite strong enough to get one shots. It's on the planes. Oh. I mean, it's pretty nice though. Kind of spots the Neo tank. Does the tank dive in on it? Does 3 damage. Kill off the anti-air. Pretty good. Tank. 5 health tank. I mean, getting all those first strikes is very nice for Thavidu, but it does require the units getting really far forward. So we'll see what the counterattack turn's looking like. Just an Urban Blight. I am surprised. Kill off a copter. But yeah, it doesn't have one shots going on. Neo tank. 2 kills can hit the recon. The bomber is covering these units, which is nice. Oof. That doesn't feel great for a fighter. At least it's not next to a city, so it takes at least 2 shots to take out. But honestly, as Thavidu, you can't feel too bad about that situation. You still have quite a few heavy hitters on the front lines. And you still have the anti-airs required to take care of the air. Gotta be a little bit careful. Just because another Urban Blight is very possible. Just off the tank, just hacks this fighter once. Okay. I mean, the fighting over here seems decent. There's 3 anti-airs and 1 bomber coming in. And 2 copters. So there's only 1 9 health tank in range. So while the bomber can come in and kill an anti-air, it's pretty tough to take out all 3. And as long as there's 1 standing, the bomber doesn't want to engage. Yeah, Steeler just has to back up. Does have a lot of pressure going on down here. Only with 1 vehicle supporting. So Thavidu successfully held the front switch attack, utilizing the high society. And all the strong strikes that came from that. Currently looks like he's going to be able to hold down here as well. This time Thavidu is the one front shifting as steezer backs off. Steezer, while steezer did take out most of Thavidu's vision, steezer also is lacking a lot of vision here. So, you gotta be able to, like, did my opponent just switch away? Oh, it's okay. I would be very, very hesitant about ever putting my bomber next to a property like that. Especially with nothing on that property. But it's fine. The anti-airs can't reach. Though they wish they could. Interesting. Thavidu went for a fighter. It didn't look like Steezer's fighter ended up working out that great, but I guess Thavidu has higher hopes. Copter. I think we're going to have recon, copter infantry. Pretty good. Strong force defending this. The Neo tank doesn't actually cover this anti-air, but the medium tanks do. Or actually, only this one does. We're down to just one tank in the range of this, so it's getting to the point that very expensive units will have to go after this. Well, the tank goes after the recon. The Neo is the one that goes after the anti-air. Mighty gutsy. What is this bomber doing? It's backing up a bit. Probably wise. Caesar does start putting some pressure on this front, and it's not currently visible for Thavidu. Great use of a 1 health copter. When the spotting. Only the medium tank and a copter can strike here. But the copter can strike from the comm tower. So copter, medium tank, well, especially with an urban blight, is going to be able to do a number on this neo tank. And by number, I mean take out. Rest in peace, neo tank. And still the bomber, unfortunately, doesn't have great options here. You can go in and kill a medium tank, but it's not going to be very easy to cover it. So you'll probably end up trading for a medium tank. And sometimes in games, you have to do that in Fog of War, just because you're not set up enough to utilize the bomber in any other way. Is like, do I trade my bomber for the medium tank, or do I just never use my bomber? Is the situation you can get stuck in. And this, I think, is that situation. Or you can try and front shift the bomber away from the army and hoping that your opponent doesn't actually have an answer for it. If it's not in the main Deathball versus Deathball kind of setup. Oh, it looks like it might just be never use the bomber. Oh, the bomber's gonna get traded for a tank, which is even more painful than trading for a medium tank. Pop. I guess in this case the fighter's pretty happy with this attack. Because it does live an anti-air attack. I don't think it might not live an anti-air plus fighter attack though. There goes the Neo. But if this fighter does die, then this will just kind of get to survive. Looks like the fighter's gonna live. Thought we might see. I guess this can't really reach. Yeah, you can't really kill this guy off. So It's fine. Unhappy days for Caesar down here for sure. Now there's nothing to really deal with these heavy vehicles. Can go after the fighter, but everything that goes after the fighter gets cleared out. You get knocked down to 3 instead of 4. So it'll be a clean trade fighter for fighter overall. And then the bomber just kind of gets thrown in on top. Now there's only going to be only some copters in the back left of the air units. Teaser, I really like the side play this Teaser's got going on here. Oh. Wow, I thought that... Oh, I see the recon can't actually make it to this tile. Nothing can make it to that tile. Wait, what? The only thing that could make it there would be this anti-air? Interesting. So if Thavidu wanted to stop the city from getting captured, I've had to let the copter live. It's probably fine for Thavidu. I'd be impressed if Caesar is able to maintain control over this city after taking it. There survives. By fighter. We finish off that anti-air. No, it's gonna live at 2. Okay, and this is one of the rare cases. I would say it's fine for this anti-air to go down here and kill off this infantry, just because it's in the back of your lines. It's not like you need more anti-airs over here. It would even be fine against this tank, just barely. Light, fight recon well. Kill off the Neo, or does it live at 1? Oh, it does die. Okay. That's very good news for Steezer. This is gonna not necessarily be an amazing cost-effective trade, but now there won't be a Neo tank. It'll just be medium tanks. Here we go. We get to hit the anti-air down to 5. That's pretty decent. Unfortunately, it does make it so this artillery has a roll for the turn, so that part's not great. But other than that, it's good. We could see a high society here even, but I don't think it's necessarily needed. Okay, we're going to go for it. High society for a huge clean out. There survives. Recon survives. Copter not have anything else I could do. Okay. Infantry thinking that's lucky stars. I think that guy out. We're gonna strike here and then anti-air attack or something. I don't think the high society was needed, but it was definitely cute. Dives in. Attacks. We're almost down to just infantry. We're still being very aggressive. Wow. I guess the high society's over, is the thinking. This is what I was like. It's gonna be really tough to hold this city for Steezer. Oh, copter. And this is something that's really annoying, I guess, when both fighting Kindle and in Kindle mirrors. So oftentimes you'll be like, I'll use my Neo tank to clear their tank off of their city, right? And then I'll stand on their city. But then they kill off your unit on the city and then have like their medium tank strike at your Neo. So if it's like Urban Blight and then is this on the city? And then Neo strikes to clear this, it will be very bad news for the Neo. Yeah, but when you're playing it, you're like, this is what Neos do. They clear the cities, and then I have my infantry strike from it, and it's fine. And then suddenly it's like, oh, it's actually not fine. It's not fine at all. I just lose my Neo. Yeah, Caesar resigns. GG. It's a tough matchup, but very well done from both players. Steezer ended up getting a really nice advantage, but Thavidu had a really good high society strike into the Steezer's army that just ended with a brawl that just ended up going very positively for Thavidu. GG. Another victory for your rival. Blow my nose. Killerjays. Way down here. Sturm mirror. Okay, we live in a society. The Kindle Use High Society challenge is officially completed. It's good if you have enough cities, for sure. Is there a day limit? Another victory from her. Andy needs to get educated. High society has the best education. There you go. There you go. You need some intel on a Sturm mirror. You have 2 going on as we speak. Wow. Sturm gets banned on a map by map basis. So sometimes you'll see him banned on your fog maps. But usually you'll be able to play him. Is Sturm banned on this map recently? He does get like a little bit of extra income. I'd be surprised if they banned him for that though. Is he currently banned? Wow. I think Sturm gets banned on some high funds maps too, I imagine. I remember playing this map. You'd see a lot of like Sturm versus Von Bolt, and Von Bolt would be kind of a little favored there. He does have this, like you go from this base straight to this city in one turn. And you have like this chain that only he can do. Doesn't seem too much to me though. Sturm deserves to be banned for all his villainy. I don't know. Sometimes the map committee bans him because they lose against him or something. Josh. Five move rockets are not contestable on this map. Is it because, like, I mean, he does get very nice deployments of rockets. I think I myself used them on this map for him too. From what you hear, huh? All right. Well, we're going to see a nice Sturm mirror. I expect plenty of recons, always harassing. Killerjays has already missed a recon buy, but Sami did not. First recon of the match. Killerjays coming out with the second recon. Do we see even more? We do. Recon already zooming up, ready for action. Another recon going to show up on the other side. Okay, Killerjays. It's going to come down to what are you trying to do with this infantry. If it's trying to go for this city, you can just go into these woods. If it's trying to go for this city, well, you don't reach. If it's trying to go for this city, I would more advise you stand on these plains, I guess. You just don't want to have, like, this attack available. It always hurts when the recon strikes you from the city. Recon versus recon with Sturm. I hit you for 2. Your retaliation hits me for 2. It's actually really painful. In this case, it's not so bad. But it's really painful if this recon now has like a city that it can go to repair. Like if this was already captured, then this would really suck. Because you have this exchange and then they go to repair. And then you are stuck with an 8 health recon and they're about to go up to 10, so you'll have like a huge tempo loss. Just gonna zoom on over here. Spots recon. There's a tank here. Jeez, recon spots recon. Getting trapped all over the place. Tank bravely moving into the center. We do have a lot of artillery coming out pretty early. I like it. I like it. It's a little bit iffy in the mirror to go straight into the artilleries, because if Killerjays was going mass recon, your artillery are going to be so sad. Because they're pretty much always going to be spotted, and they have to be constantly defended against swarms of 8 move units. So while you'll be able to like defend in this kind of situation, you have so little map presence when you do this kind of situation, this like turtling kind of keep saying situation, but turtling strategy. Tactic. So it doesn't really matter if recons can't attack you if you're not doing anything in the meantime. In this case, it will interrupt the capture, so that's something. Inch forward a bit. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the very safe play with Sturm in the mirror. I think you can let the bonus defense kind of serve as protective padding for very aggressive maneuvers. Although the aggressive maneuver should be well informed with plenty of recons. In this case, it just kind of gets shot by an artillery, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Can live at 1. Ooh. There we go. That's some pretty aggressive maneuvers. That's that. It goes down. Okay. This is a very what would you call it? I'll say this is a very Chinese strategy. I don't know how many people have fought against or played against members of the Chinese Advanced Wars by Web community, but they love to do this early death ball preparation and then slowly march it, and like with the idea of you try and fight it with much smaller armies because you're not nearly as like compacted and forced together like this is, and then they just kind of gobble up your units. It can be very good, but playing against it so much kind of helped develop my own style of having a ton of map presence and lots of front switching. Because if you look at this kind of thing, what's it really weak against? It's really weak at, like I was saying, map presence wise. So if I'm like, oh, I see your giant death ball, it's over there, I'm just gonna go strike everywhere else, then life is good. I don't know why they like doing that form of death ball. It is very effective. It's just something you'll run into a lot. I don't know if they're still doing that. I'm probably a little out of date in the Chinese meta now. Okay. Little line of units. That's getting interrupted. Looks like we're going to split the map evenly. For now, fall back. Tiny bit. Okay. I think we might be in store for some stalling here. Okay. Attempt at killing the infantry in the center. You have a rocket in play for Killerjays and a rocket in play for Sami. Rockets say hi. So if you're stalled out in a Sturm mirror, you can always start teching the mega tanks. Because mega tanks serve multiple purposes for you. One, they can one-shot tanks, which is nice. 2, they can work as really nice magnets for when you're for when the stalling ends and you start actually fighting and getting charge. And 3, they're very good against indirect fire, which Sturm tends to build a lot of because he's got really fast indirects, which makes him really strong. I guess 4, while they have 4 movement, that 4 movement doesn't hurt nearly as much when it's perfect movement. Yeah. 4 perfect movement ain't so bad. We have a breakthrough. Sami drilled a little hole here. Mega tank or the medium tank kind of has to expose itself to go for that strike though. So we'll see if it ends up paying out. Oh my gosh. Do we have just no fear about meteors? What is this? What is this? No. Okay, well, Killerjays should 100% just all out swing into this. Drop the normal power. Even if you have to go for some slightly poor trades to get the normal power, you would definitely use the normal power here. Oh, it looks like we might not get there. We could have some sacrifices. No sacrifices used. Okay, this is also not much better though against the Sturm Meteor. Neither player really playing around it. Why are we building triple tank? Okay, well, I was saying that Sami was in trouble if the meteor landed, but now I'm going to say Killerjays is in a lot of trouble if the meteor lands. Are we not starting with a meteor? It's very greedy to try and get a super here. What is these? Why are we sacrificing 3 units? What role are we going for there? What? Is this just trying to get the super? Usually you settle for the normal power because oftentimes if you hit their units down to 4 or for 4 damage, you can just kill those units anyway. And what you really like is those +10 +10 stats. Okay. I mean, it is impactful. Knocking all these guys down to 2. I won't deny that. That's a lot of damage. How much did that do? We're at 178. Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. Almost 50k. Is that really 50k? 178. $126, yeah, 52k. I mean, I might take that back a bit. That was good. That worked out. I think the normal power probably would have ended up resulting in a similar amount of destruction just because all these units would have extra stats. You wouldn't have to go for all these like sacrifices, but I mean 50k damage is good. And it's on the essentially on the front lines. Response meteor strike. I don't know if there's been a magnet. Been a little bit of a magnet. Well, I think it does more damage than what it's showing here because the units in the fog were not calculated in, but that's definitely far less. Okay. Join cap. Yeah, the fighting, I mean, it's still looking very good for Sami at 148. At the end of the turn, we can wrap around. Start gobbling up the injured indirects. Oof. Yeah, and Sami gets to charge first. I think that's probably going to be game. Attacking in here, you have a little bit of a counter gobble up. Copters are going to be a problem for a while. Anti-air, oh, got trapped. Okay. I think it's very sad. Oh. Starting to fall back a bit, but my gosh, is Sami just like way ahead Yeah, Killerjays resigns. GG. I think if Killerjays got the normal power off on this turn, I think it would have just been the complete opposite in how the game went. Either that or some sort of magnet so that the super doesn't land here. That's another reason why you want to get with Mega Tanks and the like. GG. It is a wild match for sure. Poor Sturm. Banning poor innocent Sturm. Got Ren's. AI. raufwor. That was your first pure heartbreaking loss? Aww. Yeah, if you don't know, Sami is a well-known member of the community. They were in charge of the fog map rotations for a long time there. I don't know if they still are. Sturm versus Andy. I'll put my support behind Andy. One of my early league games was just regular Fog of War, but it was a Sturm versus Andy because I was an Andy main, and I discovered that Andy kind of likes fighting against Sturm, and I believe that's going to be true in high funds as well, if not more true. What Andy loves is that Sturm has a hard time killing Andy's units. And Andy also doesn't really mind the meteor strike too much. Like, oh no, unless the meteor strike results in Andy losing units, the damage just kind of gets healed off. And that can make Sturm really, really sad once the fighting actually begins. Sturm can still harass Andy like Sturm can harass everybody. But I don't know why Andy is going for a recon here. So the tank does get to tag this. Actually, all the way down to 2, which is pretty impressive. I guess if Sturm doesn't do anything, this recon is going to be still fairly useful. Usually you would just stick to the tank counts. And there was some early Sturm perfect movement options, like getting this city so fast. Sturm is going to need that extra cash. And he's going to go down here with... Neither player went for a fast break on this pipe seam. If you go for the the pipe seam break, you do get really nice access to striking at their airport or their lab, because this is a 1 lab map. We're mech spamming. Okay, that was a little weird to send that infantry forward like that. It doesn't really delay the capture, the city being captured at all. Bop, bop. This kind of situation is why Andy loves to fight Sturm. Like, you're just kind of happy. My tank lives, you lose your tank. I get charge. Okay, now we're gonna start going to break on this pipe. The mech can try and interrupt this. I would much prefer if this tank survived in some way. Even just like moving it down here would be fine. And let's get a little bit careful. Ooh, we're going for a fast Sturm battleship. This is, I would not recommend doing this, by the by. Because you build a battleship here, it can go into these few tiles, and what do? They just build a bomber right here, right like next to your battleship. There's no anti-airs or anything prepared. Like so. This tank not attack anything? It didn't. And Andy decided not to kill it. Okay. Very weird. Maybe Andy felt bad. I was like, Sturm didn't use it. I'm not going to take it out. This recon should probably just skedaddle. It should at least be in there. How does Sturm protect this? Do you like move the battleship out and build a cruiser? Oh my gosh. Look at how... Look at how much this just sucks for Sturm. It at least knocked it down to 4. If it knocked it down to 5, you'd be like, oh my gosh, what do you even do with life? Like, if Andy gets the super, you're so sad. All of these attacks do nothing except damage your own unit. I think Andy can probably get the super. You have a fighter, but like it's over here. Oh, that did only 3 damage. I thought that'd give it a little bit more charge, so maybe Andy can't get the super. I know there's a whole bunch of attacks on tanks. Well, maybe not. If we're not like attacking over here and stuff. Maybe Andy doesn't feel the pressure to get the super. Whoa, 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 whoa. What is going on? So, if Andy used the super this turn, you can just take this comm tower, which would be pretty nice for sure. Because you just pop the super and then finish the capture. So no super. Does give Sturm some opportunity to finish off some units here. I mean, the lab capture is very scary. I really like this recon block. Because Andy did use the super to get the movement to attack the lab, but now that's not an option. Let's get to kill off this tank. Andy feeling a little bit silly about being stuck in this situation. The bomber doesn't have to be the one that hits the lab because the bomber could kill the recon from a safe spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can do it from here. Well, you would much prefer if the bomber, at least I think you'd probably prefer if the bomber was just went after the recon instead. I guess it does survive the anti-air strike. So just don't use the super this turn. But ideally you'd be using the super as much as you can to really get the most out of it. Okay. Lots of attacks into this copter. When you have a meteor strike, it's hitting over here for sure. Down goes the bomber. Coin cap. Copter just kind of stands there. It doesn't really do anything, but it stands there. Bomb tower under threat being captured. Okay, Andy still hasn't used the super. Should definitely use the super this turn. Okay. Heal up almost like 14k. There lives, we do get to interrupt this lab. Another join cap. Okay. Bust out a rocket. Should probably have built these in the opposite bases. Because the rocket doesn't reach from here. The rocket reaches from here, so it could do an emergency fire. Bomber's also technically in range of this. Probably won't go in for that. I'm surprised this battleship worked out as well as it did. Okay. Fighting continues over here. Neo tank kills off the tank. Very risky. Oh, it had 2 health. Okay. Does actually get the kill. Wow. Oh, it's because Sturm did get this. There's the join cap. This copter did live though. So a Neo tank plus an artillery, I think, can save this. There's no Sturm normal power to go off and give another +10/+10 stats. It does. Unfortunately, has to move into the battleship's range. You know what? It is what it is. Okay. Sturm is up by 12k, which is mighty nice. Also has a comm tower. He's about to get potentially another one. The meteor strike that's landing down here should probably have moved this fighter. Maybe it doesn't matter. Yeah. If you move the fighter, it lands here instead, which hits this anti-air, but in this case you get to kill the fighter, so that's probably better. And by probably better, I mean definitely better. If that was an Andy fighter, and those are a real pain to kill. We have another battleship. Or Mega on the loose. Looks like it gets scooped up by Andy. We have an Andy missile. Okay, things are looking very nice for Sturm here. Gonna lose one city, but has a lot of pressure against Andy here. I mean, the missile can just kind of move off and an anti-air goes after the copter, but it's still pretty good. Got all these battleships, which I thought for sure would get taken out, but I was mistaken. Andy can use a super. Doesn't actually let the anti-air reach the bomber, which kind of makes it not great. Mega tanks are decent at firing at battleships if that's what this guy's goal is. Go for some nice captures over here. Please try and put some pressure on Sturm. The battleship does take a step off of this harbor. It can't, well, it could move into these tiles if it wanted to, but the rocket will be able to fire on it. Rest in peace, missile. Very, very annoying to place the units on top of the airport like that. The lab is again in a very dire straits right now. Not currently being captured, of course, but there's a serious threat of it in the future. And he takes some cities. Actually manages to get the income lead here. And there we go. The Andy tech. Mega gets to hit the Mega. 5, he'll take it, you'll take it. The rocket. Staring down this lab. But unfortunately for Andy now, there's 2 rockets on bases and they kind of can't move. Which means that this front is no longer able to produce units. And that's going to become very bad. Very quickly. Your strike here. It actually hits here. Wow. I guess that's why he had to attack there. There goes the rockets. That should be GG. I don't see any way for Andy to save this lab. Resigns. Wow, what a game. Cheeky black bow play. Yeah. GG. I think I'll manage to sneak in one more. And the poor missile. I-93 versus the Night Shadow. Dragons in the dark. Oh, it's Smacky game. It's the Smacky Cup 2. This is the one where I vouched for Grit to be in tier 4. So we've got Grit versus Sami. This does seem like it would be a fairly tough matchup for Sami. Not sure. We'll make Grit the Penguins. Just because artillery are pretty darn good against mechs usually. But Grit isn't the best at necessarily defending the HQ and all of these like Grit can defend one spot really well, but can really struggle at defending a bunch of spots really well. So if there's Comm Tower HQ, Comm Tower Airport, kind of like 4 spots that Sami can hone in on to try and find a weakness and just take it with a victory march. I could definitely see the Sami player winning. Also, Sami should probably go for like a lot of transports early on, because Grit's gonna have a trouble really controlling the map outside of the like whatever segment a bunch of artillery go towards. We do see an early recon from Grit. It would never be able to stop a Sami capture. We're not going to see a single. We're not seeing a single Sami transport. Instead, we're going to see recons to try and contain and harass Grit. Okay. Ooh, we're doing the long recon route. So if the recon goes all the way around on these shoals, you can find a really nice spot in these woods that lets you see like this airport and this city, or and this base. Give you a lot of knowledge about what could be coming out or what is over here. Okay. Well, we already have an option for a nice interrupt for Sami with this recon. Like so. Beep. Just backs off. For some reason, Sami went for a recon versus recon strike over here. Sami probably got a little bit lucky that Rit did not actually go for this recon attack. There might have been a chance that the tank could finish it off. Probably not, but maybe. You start seeing the artillery come out. Central caps for Sami. Start seeing some copters. Okay. This is not how I would have played the Sami versus Grit matchup. But I kind of like Sami's approach here. Being like, you know what? I'm just going to be the vehicle aggressor, because while Sami's direct vehicles have minus 10% attack, Grit's direct vehicles have minus 20% attack. So Sami's got the better vehicles. So I guess you might as well utilize them, as well as the stronger infantry for sure. I should take that city. Deny this city. Going to go for both central cities. So this is something that's, I think, is very nice for Sami. Just being able to threaten so many different spots on the map. Well, kind of does get killed off. We can see Sami's going to have a pretty solid income lead here. Just got to be really careful. Not get a little too exposed. And bumble into a giant artillery line. You can see how tough it is for Grit to be fighting on these multiple fronts. And while Grit can definitely enjoy these bundles of forests, they're really slow for artillery to move through, and they don't actually defend that much stuff. There goes that comm tower. Start trading out infantry. Or not a comm tower, that recon. This comm tower is now under threat. Copter's probably going to die. This city still gets captured, like the tank hits it, but Sami. Okay. Sami's got a 4K income lead, which is pretty darn good. We'll see how that gets leveraged. because Grit's starting to go for a giant artillery clump. Sammy's being very aggressive with these copters. I would dare say perhaps too aggressive, but the idea might be that the Night Shadow's like, I don't really care if you kill these copters because I'm just trying to get Victory March. And to me, they're like a good way to get the charge. I know the flank copter play got the recon, yeah. Okay, we have the sneak attack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Grit does need to keep in mind that there is at least one infantry here. Yeah, okay. Gotta kill that off. There's at least one infantry there in range of the HQ. There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another one. See Grit trying to stand on these cities. Don't you dare step off of the HQ. Tank doesn't move. Is this GG? Can this see? I think that's just game. I think copter plus copter kills tank. Copter plus recon probably kills tank too, because you get to have not quadruple, but you do get triple comm tower boost. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, it's even worse because it's super game because it's recon plus copter plus infantry. 4 health infantry can strike this, or the full health one can too. Yeah, that's super game over. Oh no! Oh my gosh! Well, that was the only infantry in range of the HQ, so it's not game over this turn. But that was a game over state. You just had to like sack some stuff over here for 1 bar of charge. Okay. Alright, Sammy, good one right there. This is going to be a lot of overcharge. There's still this guy in range of the HQ, chilling on a mountain. Now gone. Okay. Grit's like, I just lose this comm tower, and that is true. Very good that Grit cleared this infantry out because it was threatening to just take the airport. Lots of units standing on cities here. So the Night Shadow is just going to be like, I'm just not going to use the super and force you to play around the super for the entire game. That's definitely an option. Probably a little too aggressive with these copters at this point. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have the snipe attack. Pop, pop. That does spot this infantry. Anti-air on the HQ is not something that can be very easily cleared off, unless there was like a mech around, but there isn't. There's no transport units to get them there. Sammy just kind of diving in. There's actually only one anti-air left over here, so the copter spam is starting to overwhelm poor Grit. Artillery is thinking it's like stars that these recons did not strike at it, or didn't find it until after moving, I should say. Should really get some transports into this game for Sammy. Okay, almost all the infantry are gone over here. Grit's pretty much forced into... I guess the artillery could also stand on the airport. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Oh, tank goes on the HQ. That could be GG. We'll see. Is that GG? So if Sammy uses the power, I don't think there's an easy way for this infantry to make it to this comm tower. So it would be plus a total plus 30% firepower, and you can have a full health tank and a full health copter. If this copter like kills this artillery, this wraps around. Oh, it's super GG, right? This can wrap around to here. The tank hits from here, full health infantry strikes. This guy just takes it. Oh, that's even more. Capture. Strike. Capture. GG. Poor Grit. It is possible to get the fourth comm tower, but I don't think it was the vision over here isn't good enough to make it reasonable. I guess you could send the 1 health copter over. GG. Grit tier 5. Yeah, no, the Sammy pressure is too much. You can like the ball of units here for Grit, they're pretty good. But you saw, like, for quite a while there, the reinforcements towards it is just infantry, and that's just not quite enough when all that stuff is coming in. And that was forced upon Grit because Sammy's not attacking just here. Sammy's hitting, like, all fronts. 0-2 in the finals. Oh, no. It is Apple time. It is Apple time. Well played, the Night Shadow. Well played. I leave you all... Oh, an apple for everyone. I hope everyone enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Back on Monday, hopefully. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.
It's Go7, king of the penguins. Of all the penguins, he is king. It's Go7, king of the penguins. Being king of the penguins, that's his thing.